Want to talk? So let's talk. Here. Talk. You want to talk? You gotta talk. You need to talk. News talk.
I talk, you talk to Solomon. I talk, you talk to Solomon. Yeah, let's talk to Solomon. Talk to Solomon.
You gotta talk. You
Good
wanna
evening
talk.
and welcome to the final sector of the Stan Solomon program, Talk to Solomon. I'm Stan Solomon. I'm the host, my co-host,
Chief Steve.
who is late but here nevertheless, and of course, our good friend from the great state of Alabama, Greg Howard. Greg, hey.
Hey there. Good to hear you, Chief Steve.
My pleasure to hear you.
Listen, I don't think Al was going to be with us. He had no electricity in his home earlier today. Didn't know if it would be reinstalled or at any rate, we haven't been able to get him. So I'm assuming it'll be the three of us. And I want to start with a conversation about Japan's new government, just a month old, and one of their finance minister, or the finance minister, one of their senior members, Taro Aso, made the following quote: "Let elderly people hurry up and die to take pressure off the government to pay their medical bills." Now, why am I not surprised to hear a major government say, and by the way, right now a quarter of their population is over the age of 60, and by the year 2025 or something, it'll be 40%. So basically, they're saying to solve financial problems, you just get rid of non-productive people. Does that sound familiar, Greg?
Yeah, it sounds very familiar. This is something that we've seen a number of times in past communist economies in the world. They've done it in China. They've done it in Germany. Italy played around with it a little bit during the fascist regime. It's simply a matter of economics. If you're no longer productive and you cost the state more than you're worth, you get euthanized. If you're lucky, they euthanize you. If you're unlucky, they simply walk up to you and put a bullet through your head.
Chief?
Well, the world is filled with evil people, but also government has no heart. And where there's no heart, there can be no God. So that's why we can never, ever let our health care be under the control of the government. So if you have no God and a government control, and then you add evil men to this, it's only going to lead to one outcome. That's going to be death for many people that don't deserve it.
Now, what many people don't realize, now listen, folks, this exists around the world. It exists in Germany. It exists in England. It exists in Brazil. It exists in Cuba. It exists everywhere except the United States and Israel. Now, why? Now, of course, that's going to change. Some people say, well, insurance companies can refuse. Not really. Insurance companies can't refuse. They have to honor their contract. Now, if their contract was for a limited amount, they could say once you've spent whatever it is, $1 million, $2 million, they don't have to pay anymore. But the reality is that most, if not all states, and the United States historically have said, we will take care of you with whatever means we have available to us outside of heroic measures. What Obama and Obamacare is talking about is saying that starting when you're, ready, 55, not 90, when you're 55, and by the way, this is already the case in England and Australia and many other countries, New Zealand, at age 55, they make a decision, translated 99 times out of 100, they say no to anything above and beyond setting a broken leg or giving you a flu shot. If you need a transplant, forget it. If you need major dialysis, forget it. If you need whatever, if you're past a certain age, depending on the economy and the state of their finances, you don't even have an option once you pass a certain age. Now, I'm past that certain age. The chief is past that certain age. Greg, who I hate, is not beyond that certain age, but he will be. The reality,
Yeah, very close.
The reality is, and Greg's in the health insurance industry, and he knows it well. The reality is that one of the reasons that a lot of so-called Republicans, conservatives, didn't fight Obamacare is they don't want to have to deal with it. Walmart, and it's a wonderful company, they are tickled to death. They've got 1.5 million employees. Do you think they don't want to be rid of health insurance concerns and just put all those people on the government program? Then they can pay the money. They don't mind paying the money. They just don't want to be in the middle of, did you give this? Will you give that? What was your reason for this decision? No company wants that. That's where this is all going. Chief?
Well, you've said a lot of things there, but in reality, it's really a goal. It's a goal of evil people like Obama to control the outcome of people and just let them at their mercy. And it's really like, it doesn't matter what you can do for me tomorrow, what can you do, what did you do for me yesterday, it's what can you do for me today. If I don't like the answer, hey, you're on the list and you're out of here.
Now, the reality is that there is an exception. You know, I said 99 out of 100? That 1% is the ruling class, the elitist.
Yeah, the congressmen and the senators.
And the presidents and the vice presidents and all those people, not when they're in office. Even, I guarantee you, when Barack Obama, may he have a long life on another planet, but if Barack Obama is turning 89 and needs whatever, I'm not wishing anything on anyone, but if he were to need a transplant, they would approve the transplant for Barack Obama, where the people who voted for Barack Obama, just let him die. Greg?
Yeah, that is one of the things we're going to see is the two-tier system for the elites, you know, the Illuminati, the enlightened ones, the college professors, you know. It's going to become almost, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out which science fiction movie to liken it to. But if you have a special value to society because you're a congressman, a senator, or a beloved college professor, you will get the standard of care that we used to see for everyone. Whereas if you're Joe the plumber and you're 60 years old and you need a heart transplant because you were exposed to too many toxic fumes while you were gluing pipes together, you're just not going to be worth it. So you're just going to be allowed to go into a hospice if you're lucky and waste away. Whereas, that college professor who may have chain smoked in his early life will be given a fresh heart to be allowed to continue to indoctrinate young minds full of mush into the wonders of Alinsky and Marx and create more Obama-type voters.
Yeah, I think that Rush Limbaugh's low-information voter is just absolutely classic.
Well, Barack Obama said it publicly on video that perhaps we should let Grandma just take the pills and die.
Yeah, I mean, he's not hiding his agenda, especially now. He's going to go for all conservatives to have their medical care cut off when they're 12, and all liberals to have their medical care cut off when they're 60, and all elitists to never have their medical care cut off. That's exactly what's going to happen. Justin Bieber. Now, I wouldn't know what a Justin Bieber was. I've heard his name enough times. They say he's a musician. I've never heard his music. I know that he was, kind of for little girls, young girls, 12-year-olds, and he's gotten older, so now they're 50-year-olds, whatever. But Justin Bieber's mother is raising $10 million for crisis pregnancy centers. I am now a Justin Bieber fan, or at least his mother's fan, because here's someone from the entertainment industry that knows that it's a baby.
Well, I read the story. The story is fantastic, and Justin Bieber's mother, when she was pregnant with him, was having a lot of turmoil in her life and was pressured heavily by other people to abort Justin Bieber. And she just realized that she couldn't do it. She realized it was a human life, and she couldn't do it. And now look what we have. And also, there's a related story to this that I read as well. It talked about a woman that saw a person with a T-shirt on that was happily praising that they aborted a baby. And the statement that she made was, "There's not a woman alive that is glad about the baby she aborted, but they're always glad about the ones that they have." And so I think that's a very significant thing to say.
There was a case where a woman was told the child she was carrying was disabled. And she said she would go ahead and abort. But for some reason, they did one of these sonograms, and she said she could see her child smile. And she canceled the abortion. There should be a mandate. First of all, there should be no legal abortions. Did you see that at the film festival, Greg? The 4 doctors left in America that do late-term abortion, third trimester abortions. They were doing a film about the guy who got killed, Dr. Tiller. And these 4, all old, by the way, are the only 4 left. There are no other doctors doing these late-term abortions. And somehow they were being celebrated that they were providing this service. I think they should get the Most Like Hitler Award. What do you think?
Well, understanding the procedure, which I will not go into, there has to be a missing part of your human genome to be able to even contemplate doing this procedure. These are evil personified. These 4 men still doing this procedure are the embodiment of evil. And to celebrate these people as some sort of heroes or role models, it just, I think, cheapens the sensibilities of anybody who would celebrate them. You know, for those who do not confront evil, condone it.
You know, that's really a very significant statement. Chief, I'd like you to talk about not confronting evil. In other words, turning your back, doing your busy work, ignoring what is happening. Is that not condoning? Absolutely condoning. It's actually promoting, because when there's evil taking place, people have to do what they can to stop it. And everyone has different capabilities and different options that they can do. You know, but anyone that sits around and does absolutely nothing about this is just condoning it. But I do want to say to some of those women out there that have gone through abortions, that they're first of all, a lot of them are in a moment of very big distress and turmoil in their lives. And when they go to an abortion clinic, they're not told what we know, that it's a baby, that it's a murder, that the baby's going to feel pain, all those things. And so the left has been very good about avoiding those terms. They don't call it a baby, they don't call it a murder, they don't call it kill, they don't use any of those terms at all. And oftentimes the girls go through it, the young ladies go through it, and then afterwards realize what's happened and have tremendous amount of psychological damage. But to get back to your point, there's been many scholarly people that have talked about this. And I always think of a quote by Dr. Laura Schlesinger, and she said, to consider yourself a good person, you know, you must take care of those that can't take care of themselves. And you must take care of the weak, or you can't consider yourself a good person. And I just think that's very significant, because if we have the ability to help someone that's in trouble or can't defend themselves, we have to do it. And if anybody can't defend themselves, it's an unborn baby. And if anyone is the personification of total innocence, it's an unborn child. How could the child have done anything wrong? The child hasn't taken a breath of air. And yet we have people that will march around and scream and holler about freeing someone who killed or raped or murdered, and yet they're totally comfortable with killing that perfect innocence of an unborn child. Ah, well. Our journey is not complete until we redefine marriage. I am quoting President Barack Obama. Since I didn't bring a barf bag, I won't go too deep into the subject, but Greg, redefine marriage?
Well, he wants to redefine everything that makes America what it is. He wants to redefine everything that makes a family what it is. He wants to redefine everything that has made this what the nation that it has been. Remember, he said we are only 5 days away from fundamentally transforming America. Fundamentally transforming America. Let's look at the words. Fundamental, the basis, the basis upon which everything America rests was going to be transformed. And he has, in fact, worked on every single aspect of it. He has debased the currency. He has debased our culture tremendously just in 4 years. He has debased the political process. He has debased our culture in terms of our rights to religion. He has debased our constitutional rights by extending unconstitutional actions such as the Patriot Act, the FISA, the National Defense Authorization Act. He is going after the Second Amendment. You know, each one of these Bill of Rights items, these are not something that you can pull one out and the others will remain. You pull one out, the others fall. He has been fundamentally transforming America. Now he seeks to fundamentally transform the basic unit of society upon which you can collapse a society if you remove it, and that is the nuclear family.
Chief?
Well, Greg made great points there. You left out the First Amendment because he stomped on the Catholic Church and the First Amendment, which allows us to practice our religion any way we choose.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry I did that.
No,
you
no.
can take it and run.
I'm just adding to what you said, which was great. But Greg's right here. If you look at Barack Obama, which is hard to do, but he wants to fundamentally transform America, so he wants to change everything and make it his. He's done it. He's changed everything. He also wants to destroy America. He doesn't like America. You just look at how he said, what he says, how he acts, who his heroes are. Why does Barack Obama like the Muslim terrorists? Why does he never call them terrorists? He admires them. He thinks that they are freedom fighters. They are fighting the terrible colonialists who take away his ability and like his ability to make this a socialist utopia state. He has also, this really got me most of all. He was sworn in on 2 Bibles, Lincoln's Bible and the Bible of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Those were 2 very prominent Republicans. And he claimed that he was doing it to like round out the circle, blah, blah, blah. A big lie. What he was doing was telling all of us that he's crushed the Republican Party. He now controls everything. He controls it. They're no longer Republican Lincoln's Bible, Republican Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s Bibles. They're his Bibles. He's in control of everything. That's what he wants. As Greg has said, he's changing everything.
There's a guy in England.
Steve.
I'm sorry?
I said that is a wonderful point, the symbolism that he is grinding even the prominent 2 Republican Bibles under his feet.
Well, he is a victory lap specialist. Even though he says you shouldn't take a victory lap, that's been his entire presidency, is taking victory laps. And again, it's sickening. There's a guy named David Attenborough. He's a knight, knighted by the Queen of England. And he says, and let me quote him, he said, quote, "We," meaning humanity, "are a plague on the earth. It's coming home to roost over the next 50 years or so. It's not just climate change, it's sheer space, places to grow food for this enormous horde. Either we limit our population growth or the natural world will do it for us. And the natural world is doing it for us right now." Now, obviously, I hope that this man is eaten by a horde of grasshoppers and turns into grasshopper poop, but because that way he'd be contributing. But the fact is that the most populous countries in the world are places like Japan, where the standard of living is terrific. The most populous state in the United States is New Jersey, and yet you don't see in New Jersey what you see in Mississippi and in some other states. The reality is it's not the number of people, it's the type of political system that determines whether things grow and are prosperous or are chaotic and destroyed. The reason we've lost so many precious human beings in Africa is because there's not one democracy, not one quality government in the entire continent outside of what used to be South Africa, but even that's gone now in what is the new South Africa, where 1 out of every 3 women is raped. Greg, I'll start with you.
Well, and another thing about Africa is I don't even donate to these relief aid concerts anymore because every dime you give them gets stolen by some warlord when it gets over there to buy a new yacht or an airplane or something, or fund their weapons that they use to kill Christians with. Africa is an absolute cesspool. And for us to be brought down to their level in order to make Obama happy is just absolutely sickening. Africa is a cesspool because of leaders like Obama and what he is doing to the United States. Africa could very easily, with its resources, with good, wise leaders, enter into second world status or possibly even first world status anytime they wanted to. But until they get good quality leaders, and it's not going to be with leaders like Obama, it's going to be leaders like we used to enjoy here in our not too distant past.
Well, I'm with Greg with the Africa thing, and I don't give money either. And I think about, you see these advertisements where they want you to give money to send mosquito nets over to Africa. I'm thinking, boy, how stupid is that? We need to send them DDT and electricity. That would sure keep away the mosquitoes and improve their standard of living. But if we want to know why people are starving to death in the world, we can take an example right here from the United States of America, from Barack Obama's real presidential hero, FDR. When FDR was a president, he signed the first law that told farmers to let their crops die in the field. The crops were not harvested, and guess what we got right after that? Bread lines. That's where they came from. FDR did not save this country from the Great Depression. He made it worse. World War II saved this country. But the reason that people are starving is because government won't let the crops get to their mouths.
All right, to get back to this moron, and all environmentalists are not morons, although most of them are. The fact is, being good stewards is a good thing. We're told about that in Scripture. But to think that human beings are the problem, let me suggest that if there were no human beings, who would put out fires? That instead of burning 10,000 acres, they might burn 10 million acres. If there were no human beings, who would take the dead carcasses out of the water rather than have it pollute the water to where it would kill everyone else? Anyone that believes that this earth would be prosperous with no human beings is simply not knowledgeable. When you have a problem, now yes, human beings cause some of the problems, I won't argue with that. But human beings don't cause earthquakes. They don't cause hurricanes. They don't cause tornadoes. They don't cause some of the fires. And the reality is that if you have no human beings, if you get a rabid or mad animal that is consequential, like an elephant, what's going to stop that elephant from wiping out an incredible area? If you take deer, Bambi's nice, I like Bambi, but if you don't control deer, they'll eat everything green on the face of the earth over a period of time. And then everyone will starve. Environmentalists, someone has to protect you from yourself. I would suggest a body condom and an impacted rhinoceros. We'll be back with more in just a moment here on Talk to Sullivan. You have a computer, if you're alive today, which means you have a hard drive, which means it's going to break down. Mosey, the backup people, for thousands, for Stan, for thousands of people, for tens of thousands of people, is simply common sense. You go to cpnlive.com, click on the icon for Mosey, the backup people, and sign up. It's just a few dollars a month. Let me tell you something. We had a break-in. They stole our whole computer. You know what? When they take the computer, you can't recover anything, but we had Mosey. We had the backup. We were able to restore everything simply by buying another computer. cpnlive.com, click on the icon for Mosey, the backup people, and give yourself common sense, peace of mind, great value, the best thing you've ever done. Sooner or later, it's going to be Mosey, the backup people. Hey, My name is Stan Solomon, and you know if I have something to say, I'll say it. And I'll only tell you the truth because I'm a Republican, not a Democrat. Democrats always lie. Republicans only lie half the time. I don't lie at all. This is the Fuel Mule. It's an extraordinary product that was developed by a friend of mine, an engineer, and it increases the fuel mileage on your vehicle. If you have a combustion engine, this will increase your mileage by 10 to 20%. It bolts around your fuel line. You can install it yourself or have your mechanic do it. It is an extraordinary item, and it flat works. I've been using it for more than 10 years. It's increased my mileage on every vehicle I put it on, and by the way, it will last forever. You can get rid of your vehicle, just take it off and put on the next one. Go to cpnlive.com. You'll have more information there. You can order it right there. We absolutely guarantee you'll be satisfied. The Fuel Mule. It's a way to kick down your cost of fuel and kick up your mileage. Don't you love the name? I thought of it. The Fuel Mule. I like to eat. You like to eat? We all do. And usually we run to the grocery store, we run to the convenience store, or we have something in the fridge. But power's been out in parts of this country in the last few weeks. We don't know what's going to come down the pike economically. Smart people are putting in food. Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves is a line of foods that you can put away that will last for a very long time. You know, they say eat what you store and store what you eat. This is great tasting stuff, healthy for you, a full line. You go to our website, cpnlive.com, and click on the button for Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves and see all the different things we have. This is good tasting food. It's reasonably priced. It will last. And it's worth its weight in gold if a problem arises. I know you don't think there's going to be anything that goes wrong. Actually, you do. This is smart. This is smart insurance. This is smart preparation. This is smart thinking. You have kids, you have a spouse, you have parents, you have dependents, you have an appetite. All those things can be addressed by a frugal but smart investment in Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves. Try them out. You will be tickled to death with the taste of them. You know what? In many cases, people start to eat this and they think, heck, this tastes better and costs less than what you're going to the grocery store to buy. cpnlive.com, check it out. Let me ask you a question. Do you like being sick? I have in my hand an incredible product. It's called TR10 Supercolloidal Silver. TR10 stands for a trace to the negative 10th power. The particles in this silver product are 6 to 8 angstroms, 6 to 8 10 billionths of a meter. Now listen to me. Silver has been the magic bullet for all of human existence. The Egyptians used silver instruments. We use silverware. They put silver in your teeth because nothing can grow on silver. Silver will kill anything but liberalism. I'm working on that. This product, you go to cpnlive.com, buy 1 quart of this product. It will last you for a very long time. Anytime you feel like you've been exposed to something bad, take some of this product, spray it in your mouth, or take a little bit and gargle it, swallow it. It will kill any pathogen. The average antibiotic kills 10 to 20 different pathogens. This product will kill 700 plus. Do yourself a favor, do your family a favor, do your doctor a favor. He's tired of seeing you. Get Supercolloidal Silver. Go to cpnlive.com, order the product. It's $29.95 plus shipping. I think it's $39.95 delivered any place in America right to your door. It's worth 10 times that. Check it out. If you're not 100% happy, just return it and we'll give you your money back.